Last few months I brought really, really sad personal trauma, and I decided to do a little bit happier tonight, although it's kind of sad because this week marks the year since my little brother that I shared a crib with was found by the Red Deer River. But he was the most optimistic person. He was on AISH. He had severe issues after his cancer, and he still found a way to sponsor 3 World Vision children. So this one's for Billy. Come down to the water where life begins and creation continues ad infinitum. Come down to the water where the breezes blow and life is instilled with the sap of life. Come to the water where nature baptizes the world into hope to begin again. The TV preachers and the ministry leaders have it wrong. Prophecy is not boomeranged from the pulpit or pushed out by haranguing bullies. It is best quietly whispered in poetry and lyrics and in the kind voice that speaks from inside a child's crayon picture. You can find it on a soft pink rose petal and hear it in a songbird's cry, feel it in the thunder boom, smell it in the blossoming tree. It is in the words of an old woman, a cripple, or a child, a whisper that comes from the voices we don't listen to unless we try so very hard. So slow down and see and know. In the quiet spaces, I can see most clearly the now and the forever. The truth comes out to me. Standing on the frozen riverbed, I can feel the ice as it cracks underneath the weight of my feet. Though spring still hides itself from the rest of the city. In the snowy, quiet river valley, where the frost dangles from the trees and I am free, I can hear my Creator speak without other voices shouting or the bullies chasing after me. In the quiet river valley, deep within the spaces in my head, I can see forever and I can feel no dread. Again and again I wander the rocky shore of my childhood, climb those ancient hills, knowing that I am safer in those wild spaces than I have ever been with the beasts who inhabit human places. For the monsters who have fed upon me all my life have all had human faces. Billy, we shared a crib because our parents were young and poor and played on the bare linoleum floor, never complaining or ever noticing the cold as we dressed your kittens in your shirts and pants and a few of my dresses. They balked at the shoes and we knew not to push until we got scratched. But the world scratched us bloody instead. I wish I'd seen your ghost this year, or at least heard a word about how you are. A heavenly phone call, perhaps? But you are outside my dial tone now, safe, I know, away from the stares and the prying eyes from people that didn't know that your scars belied the beauty that never died. Breathing easily and dancing to Trooper and singing in the cold November rain. And as for me, I waited through the pain and rebuilt my house on higher ground after the flood left me standing in the rain without my basement below the mucky waterline. I thought it was as brave as any bird circling above the noon sky. Some people tell me that I'm lucky when they see my new kitchen and my fresh clothes, but I know the truth. Miracles start in the painful places, in the dark, and in the cold. After you have lost everything, when you decide to begin again, hope is not found only in the blossoming flower, but also in the thrashing of a trout as it escapes the angler's hook, a sick dog suddenly raising her head to growl back at you as she decides not to give in to death.
Hi, everybody. I'm really glad to be back, and I'm getting to really enjoy this in spite of the amount of fear I feel sometimes. It's actually getting to be less fearful and more rewarding, I guess is the word. My poetry tends to come out during times in my life where there's a stream of events, And so there's a Death at My Doorstep series, which I'm going to read you 3 poems from that series tonight. And you'll be relieved because it's not about cats or dogs. And I have one that's about children that's really precious, but I'm saving that for when I get really brave. So if you've been in a good mood, that's about to end. Yeah, thanks for the warning. These are not happy poems. It's the Death at My Doorstep. It was a week when every time I turned around, somebody was in sorrow or needing help with what was going on for them. So here's 3 experiences I had. This one's called Friend in the Dell. Entering the bar, I spot, perched on the bar stool, an old friend. My buddy from the past tells me of his demise. He went over the deep end and tried with a gun to take out a few people with him. His arm encircling my waist, he tells me of the breakdown and of being in the psych ward in Calgary. Doing the Jack Nicklaus thing, he says. And now back in town, karate is helping him heal. I look into his eyes and I see the desperation and the torment, still so lost and so hurt. Craziness lurks within. Vietnam is still mashed in his brain. He who I'd held on to through his divorce until he had a new love, I, who he had held on to through my son's high school years, previously had heard of his troubles, not details, just flavors. And I greeted my old friend with silence. Not a call, not a card, and I knew better. That's it, that's the end. Okay, so part of my life I spent as a therapist, and people would come to me for help, and this is a poem about one of the ladies who came. It's called Tidings of Terror. This was all in the same week. She's a woman I worked with in the school system, one of the best teachers I'd ever seen. I deeply admired her, and I had such respect for her. Coming through my door years later for therapy, her demeanor is always regal, but her trembling gives voice to a horror she cannot hide. When younger, her younger brother, 26, going to university, bids her goodbye, shutting car door, waving, goes into the dorm and shoots himself dead. Now, her son, a university student, away from home, is suicidal. He is now 26. She looks to me desperate to take her fear away. That's the end of that one, too.
This is not a recent poem. It's from a few years ago, but it seems very appropriate this year. It's called The 1st of October. When I awoke on the 1st of October, I saw it had snowed. Not yet, I'm not ready. Despite our uncertain weather here, where it may blizzard in August or send us spring for Christmas, I'm never ready. Never ready to rise earlier in the dark to warm the car and sweep the snow from its window, or sweating in my parka, shovel its sticky mass from the sidewalk. Never ready for the cold and dark, the bitter dry grass and barren brown coulees covered so deceivingly with wet white. The second one also comes from my experience of teaching English at the university. It's called Why Students Won't Read Poetry. They have their reasons. They say, it's too hard. It's confusing. It doesn't make sense. All lies. They know instinctively poetry is dangerous. It hurts. It can kill you. Look at Sylvia Plath. She wrote out her pain until the poem she couldn't get out welled up in her throat and choked her.
Hello, everyone. I've only got a couple of short ones tonight. One is called In November, which of course is next week. One scarlet leaf bobs wildly in a ragged line on a forest pansy tree, backlit by the waning sun. It glows like blood, or a tongue, or summer's heart hung out to dry, excised. That's it. The forest pansy tree is one that doesn't grow here, and the leaves are all purple, heart-shaped. It's a beautiful tree. And then it's red in the fall. This is about my youngest granddaughter, who's now 7, actually. I have one who's also 19, but it's called In a Still Photo. In a pale trance, she lies asleep, doll arms overhead, baby fingers, spectral, outspread, stretch upwards. Does she summon incantation out of dry, endless air for this new blaring space, this exhausting weight? Or is she reaching back for the tight hug, wet and snug, from her womb dream? Perhaps she gathers strength just to be awake to the flood that awaits. Frog-shaped still, her legs float and draw a heart. My baby grand girl holds the next unfolding. Waking up, her hands curl shut in bud-like fists, mirroring her tiny, tucked uterus.
So this one's called Narcissist. The dusk of day places this strain on me. Productive pace eliminates my pain. I know not of what I can know, but that of what I can do. The scary face braces me to the ground. Follow these laws and abide by these words on paper. Aren't these just in motion and settle for a short period? This hustle continues, and I'm worried about these years of me on this earth. But I'm only young. Come one place that vice again. The marvelous concepts I pace in a breath, besides the foresights, can be bright. That whistle only continues inside my soul. I search for faith I cannot control, but that of my own destiny and should be paint. My courageous behavior is only a shortcoming, let alone the determination that speeds the track of accumulation. The spits of knowledge you seep in school, combining that experience and intellect to reshape your environment to provide the difference. Allow the honest self to push that shelf. I'm tired of seeing things remain as they are. Those young, beautiful minds struggling inside that classroom marked with special education. Discrimination paves them. Controlling this destiny again, 3 years shaking in my life's takings. I once sat in that chair and watched these young adults walk up and receive their much anticipated plaques and awards worth of unknown dollar amounts. Yes, they are just as talented, gifted, and deserve it that much more. But now I see a door that never opens to showcase special education anymore. That one time, stepping up there, most improved student for what reasons I do not define, but my determination was settled in that find. I might be talented at writing what I do now, and my intellect may be profound in reasons of expression and attention, but walk into that room, my existence combines with these who's. The music, paint, and brushes of passion, gifts as bright as the hand, in mind of the attacking, but the more shuddered these wonderful people accept from the others, how can a profound sound of loud emotion be settled anywhere else? My dream is to be settled among the greatest, but not that of my own greedy way. I do not want to see myself there by myself and praise with attention and talks of how great I was. My leadership and passion might be existent, but my mind needs ideas just like those who care. Thank you, folks.
Hello, it's good to be back. My first 2 poems are more on the happy side. The first one is called Familiarity. I bite into my granola bar and grimace at the taste. I have eaten these too many times to enjoy the taste anymore. Their familiarity on my tongue bores me. I crave a new flavor, new excitement. How many times have I tasted your lips and touched your tongue to mine? Far too many for me to count since our first encounter, and yet the familiarity of their softness has never sparked the same ambivalent indifference. And this one is called Your Eyes. Your eyes are the most beautiful things I have ever felt reaching into my soul. I miss their warmth when you leave. I can hardly brave a look into the depths of the ocean that is your face. Your jaw has been sculpted by a master craftsman. Her skill is evident in every crease and every line. You tug at my chest. You make my heart hurt. You make breathing hard, yet I can reach out and touch your skin, your face. I can feel the softness of your skin, the coarseness of your stubble, which still is remarkably soft. And your eyes have got to be the most beautiful thing I have ever seen.
Hi, everybody. It's good to be back and to hear all of your voices and all of your words again. You really are all inspiring. And I think what I've written between last night and this morning and throughout the day ties in with the feelings, the emotions of past grievances and future hopes, future fears, future worries. And it ties in with our sense of hearing, the sound of music, the sound of silence. It evokes memory when we hear these songs and we hear artist names that are familiar to us, band names that are familiar to us, and they connect and we connect to them in a way that just can't really be forgotten. So I'm tying all these different concepts together into one piece, and I'm calling it Tiptoe Through the Tulips into the Twilight Zone. Do you remember when we would rock around the clock back in the summer of '69? Yes? When we were all puppy love and muskrat love, and he was your lover boy, and you were his my girl? Yeah, me too. He gave to me his leather and took from me my lace, and I'm sure it looked like the monster mashed potatoes and meatloaf. But it was almost paradise by the dashboard light, while mixed messages played cassettes, marked for your eyes only, and hopelessly devoted. At least until the day the music died. The day that'll be the day when the new kids on the block brought the next hot child in the city. Cinderella would have his endless air supply of careless whispers while sitting on the dock of the bay, going fishing in the dark. And isn't it ironic that she became the Who? That was Jesse's girl. I wasn't going to get all Major Tom Petty. I just slipped on these boots were made for walking on sunshine, and then, like a virgin, I would walk in fields of gold at Lincoln Park. I knew my never-ending story had only just begun. I would find my white lion, formerly known as Prince, and he would be strumming my pain on a guitar, gently weeping. These dreams and true colors would eventually make this brown-eyed girl turn blue, black and blue. So let me tell you about the Byrds and the Beatles. It seems like yesterday when a tailored, swift turn hit me with her best shot and made me a smashed-mouth pumpkin. Then I was the Alice in Chains, locked in the trunk of a little red Corvette. You know, Tears for Fears, those made the levee run dry, and you might just stop thinking about tomorrow, if it's your time in a bottle that's kicked and tossed from the bridge over troubled water. Yeah, I'm a dumb blondie, heart of glass tiger that breaks into stars and stripes forever, bleeding cherry lip balms and shouted at the devil. I went a bit AC/DC, But you know what? I found myself while praying to Madonna and to ABBA as I waited for Kiss that would lick it up in the house of the rising sun. But when tomorrow never comes, you do what you have to do. You mix milk and juice Newton with April wine and flirt again with a foreigner from the land down under. You ride the crazy train with this Aussie, and you search for Toto on your REO Speedwagon with your ticket to ride the yellow brick road. You embark on a journey up the stairway to heaven, where a magic carpet ride awaits you and your dark horse riding. When it bites the dust in the wind and you're tumbling, tumbling, tumbling down like Fats Domino down Blueberry Hill into strawberry fields, right into Chubby Checkers, who twists the lime in the coconut in the pina colada that chases the tequila song, and the worm that never dies, until the locomotion, and that is spinning down the tracks of the Grand Funk Railroad toward Folsom Prison Blues. Blue suede shoes, they never just dance their way out of Hotel Californication. So, to confess I shot the sheriff becomes your last desperado attempt to strike a pose for the ZZ Top brick in the wall that houses the whole motley crew of twisted sisters who take your money for nothing except a nickel back. When you make the call, 867-5309, hello? Is it me you're looking for? Hello? Hello, Dolly. Dolly, pardon me for calling at the midnight hour. I just called to say I love you. Feed Jake. I'm about to go to the Electric Avenue to face the King of Pain and Queen. Crosby stills the gnashing young teeth of a deaf leopard that just couldn't change her spots. The Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy is now playing taps, and the candle in the wind plays tribute as the sound of silence remembers what a mad world, what a wonderful world it is for a lady in red in the photograph. The tiny dancer knocks 3 times on the ceiling. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. I know I don't belong here in heaven, but I'm a broken hallelujah, and you did tell me, lean on me. So here I am. I'm tired of hearing all the hell's bells, and I need a friend.
The serious one is sort of like a journal entry that happened at Kat's group, and it was hosted by Carrie. She had some wonderful poems, and then our journaling question was, what inspirational messages are important to the world now? And I just started writing whatever popped into my mind. And the first thing that popped in my mind was a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, or Gandhi. I don't know how to pronounce his name. There is a sufficiency in the world for a man's need, but not for a man's greed. And then my own words. Be kind to everyone and everything, including the planet. Heal yourself, heal others, and heal Mother Earth. If you don't have to do something, don't do it. If it's simple, don't complicate it. Go with the seasons. You can't change them. Be grateful for the beauty. There is so much of it, everywhere. Stop exploiting people, animals, plants, and the earth. Be truthful, be honest, work hard when you have to, and rest when you need to rest. Find your ancient medicine. Connect with your animal totem and with your spiritual guides. Be with your spirit. Love yourself and the people who deserve it. know how precious you are.
I have two poems tonight. They are how I feel on various days. One day one way, the next day the other way. The first one is a commentary on a famous saying by Julian of Norwich, who was a mystic in the 13th century, 14th century in England. The quote is, "All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well." All shall be well? Hey, Julian, is that really your name anyway? Awfully suspicious that it's the name of the church you lived next to. So is Julian just another name for anonymous? Anyway, Julian, did you really say that? All shall be well? What? Were you on drugs, hypnotized, or just mentally unbalanced? I mean, just look around. Watch the news, for crying out loud. Hate to break this to you, dear Julian, but things are definitely not well. Black woman killed in her home, shot by the policeman sent to see if she was all right. Kurds abandoned by allies to armies just itching for a little ethnic cleansing. Sexual slavery rings. Cages for migrant children seeking asylum. Opioid crisis. Climate crisis. Crisis. Cries us. Cries us. Cries us. All shall be well? Try that line on a woman who just lost her child to a bullet. Are you kidding? Or are you nuts? I am not impressed. Yet through the ages you still say, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Guess it does have a nice rhythm, eh? Deep down, I can't believe you were nuts. You lived during the time of the Black Plague, which killed 1 out of every 3 persons. Maybe the plague killed your children and husband, and that's why you ended up living on the side of a church, never leaving that tiny room. An anchorite with window open to listen to all who came to tell you their heartbreak, asking you to pray with them, for comfort, for strength. Though you didn't get around much, the evening news came to you. Hour after hour, day after day, you knew how much we hurt, how much we suffer, how much we need. Some things just never seem to change. All shall be well, and all shall be well. Well, I guess I can hope. Maybe someday I can even believe it. After all, some days, underneath it all, I find myself wordless watching that magpie watching me, seeing the tenderness of an open-hearted soul, feeling thank you arise from my bones. And I hope. The tension of the opposites, I hold it all, waiting for a creative revolution, a creative resolution. And I hope. And then on another day, you get this. Craving the sublime. It's the moment that takes your breath away. The trees singing harmony with the angels, visions of unity, pattern, exquisite beauty. A conviction that love, unconditional, all-inclusive, and infinite, is truly where we do live and move and have our being. Love, our matrix, our motherboard. Knowing in a flash that everything belongs. This is the sublime. This is what I crave. Yet, no matter how much I want it to happen, I cannot make it so on demand. No matter how much I need that numinous moment, I cannot make it so on demand. No matter how deeply I wish to see, to know, to feel, I cannot make it so on demand, no matter how much I grit my teeth. But I can live expectantly, trusting in possibility. I can tune my hearing to voices under the noise. I can look between the atoms to see what dances in that emptiness. I can quiet myself to feel the invisible's presence. Yeah, I can. But give me just a minute, because my friend just posted the cutest video of her youngest going on her pick up the trash walks. And there's a kid at the door wanting to sell me Girl Guide cookies, you know, the chocolate mint ones. And there's a kid and I'm in the middle of an email to my dear friend in the midst of despair. Oh, and I promised to finish prepping those questions for the reading group on compassion Monday night. And I haven't even started my homework for the life story circle. And I forgot to pick up tofu on the way home from the doctor. And my son really wants me to proofread his essay before tomorrow morning. And I just saw an alert about yet another tweet from that president down south. I thought I'd disabled all those notifications anyway. Deep breath. Time to turn the kaleidoscope one notch. All this fullness, all this embeddedness in my own world. Yes, I do belong now. There is love here. Here now where I live and move and have my being. A unified life of participation, of giving and receiving. Deep breath. I could almost hear the angels singing.
Hi, guys. So I was in San Francisco a few years ago, and you know, walking the path of the beats, or at least trying to. And I ended up outside of the City Lights bookstore, and which also has the Vesuvius Cafe right next to it. And supposedly this is one of the old haunts of those guys, right? Kerouac and Burroughs and Ginsberg, probably Kessie, all those guys. Anyways, in the back alley, I found this scratched in the wall, so I thought it was pretty cool. I'm going to share it with you. It said this: when I write, you might see words. When I write, you might see letters. When I write, you might see space. When I write, you might see time. When I write, you might see energy. When I write, you might. Okay, this is Whispers. I am the poet. I've been whispering obscurities in dark corners for many years now, and I like it that way. I am dark and brooding, obscure and abstract, and I like it that way. I'm the craftsman allowing language to consume me, and I like it that way. I'm impervious to permanence and tired of fence sitting, and I like it that way. I'm living the rhythm of symbolism so as to pawn it as wisdom, and I like it that way. I'm the tactician, stepping through the abstract and onto you, and I like it that way. Having found that symbolism, rhythm, I'm weaning my way off of words. Having found my addiction and now feeling the friction, my addiction isn't to words though, it's to whispers. Through the journey from abstraction into the rhythm of this reality is where I consumed all of it. I even drank down the first person with a perspective shift and a lime twist for garnish. Now it's time to inspire. Let's put on our costumes because reconciling truths aggravates liars, and I like it that way.
I've just recently been home, so you won't hear any homesick poetry from me tonight. And for a little while, I promise. Those poems here are more to play with the English language, and it's been a lot of fun. One word can mean a lot of things, and I remember learning English that drove me nuts. My cards were like really long for one and the same word, but now it's kind of fun to explore more with that. Okay. Be happy, be home. Be happy at home. Does having a home make you happy? Be good, be kind. Meet good-hearted people that do good things. Do good people make you a good person? Be friendly and nice. Smile first before you feel all right. Do you already feel according to your smile? Be hopeful, be patient. Better be a hopeful patient. Do your hopes make you feel hopeless in this hospital world? Don't even think to ask. And if you know the truth, don't you dare try to talk. So keep on listening to the mindless talking that don't say anything. Lonely, alone, or alone, lonely, are one and the same things. For one, you are alone. For two, you are lonely. In both cases, probably empty and numb, staring at feelingless walls in your home. Isolation, may it be forced or not, can creep its way into even the happiest of us. The one moment you were fine, the other you are not. There is not much of a pattern to it. It is just like that.
Hi, everybody. I'm a little too tall for this mic, but that's okay. I didn't even know I was going to come up here, so this is interesting. So, I don't know, I guess a little background. I got into poetry mostly because of a friend, and also I love rap, so it kind of goes hand in hand. So I just actually recently wrote my first, spoken word poem. So I'll just share that with you guys. It's my first one. I wrote it a couple weeks ago. It's a little dark, but I'm completely fine. Don't worry about it. I just go. Most of the stuff I write actually is just kind of just like go into a space that isn't mine. I just kind of pretend it is. So anyways, it's called Emotional Violence. Love, it was shot after the heart opened the lock at the end of my block. 2 clicks and a couple of light flicks and no time for a last thought. Anger, now that was blown to a mushroom cloud of fury after the last tick-tock of the mentally sane clock. The head of the house was always unable to stand when he had a spirit in hand. Till one day the hammer fell to a stop, and love, it was shot by this one's Glock. Sadness, it was created by one's own past, content thoughts, being drowned by comparing them to today's melancholy plots. It couldn't swim to the top, so it figured, hey, might as well just drop. It stole that sinking idea from the direction the rain drip drops. Happiness, that flipped to a frown that can never be turned upside down, after hearing the blasting siren sound responding to the words, man down, as the king fell to the ground, leaving his people to move to Charity Town. Who thought the highest would be the clown? Compassion, that got stuck in a maze of right and wrong, then innocence lost its ways somewhere among the maze. Concern for suffering turned into a silly game we children used to play way back in the old day. Like that time little Timmy skimmed his knees falling from the old pine tree. Hope, that didn't last long when you heard the first lyric of her funeral session song. At 16, you didn't anticipate the amount of her hate. Oh, and by the way, you'll never know I was suicide. But for her, you had to know life was do or die. We knew her tongue was twisted, but now you have no choice but to just let her lie still. For those of you who didn't know before, I'm sorry you couldn't see past your own blindfold, but all these felonies and tragedies came from a place only a select few ever sees. So please pay close attention to this next sentence for me, because if you blink, you might not sink into the meaning of this message. All this is what it's like to encounter the screaming silence we call emotional violence. That's it for me. Thank you.
Wow, it's been a really long time since I've spoken into a microphone. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your art. I'm going to start with a poem that I wrote this last summer, before I left to the Kootenays. And it's a little bit of a difficult poem. It's about my frustration and sadness about our ignorance towards the tragedy that is our relationship with the earth. As the trees of the earth begin on fire again, I find myself frantically searching, breathing shallow, my heart beating fast, with a thick sadness in my belly. Like storm clouds on a bright day, the sun becomes covered, and I sink into darkness. I feel the pain, the anguish, the killing, the disrespect, and the violence of the world. What can be done? What can be done? What can be done? In this fertile wasteland where we're birthed from scarred and shamed mothers, where our tears fall like blood into the stream of the heart of the world. First we must feel, we must feel, we must feel. In the light of the full moon, see all that is, even the ugliest, the abandoned, what we thought was long gone. It's still there, it's still here, and it's building bigger, stronger, louder, but we're blind, we're lost in our money, our materials, and our look. What do we look like, Mother Earth? Who are your children to you now? As I feel and I see the fear, the darkness, I ask, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? As I remember, the infinite is wise. It sings the story home. Down the river I float, offering what I can, doing the work that I can. And then this next poem is called Heart Book, and I wrote it not this last summer, but the summer before, on August 21st at sunrise. I was at Elfin Lakes in Garibaldi Provincial Park, if anyone knows where that is, in Squamish. Yeah, it's totally beautiful. There's like this amazing campground that you can backpack out to, and there's a couple of lakes that you can jump into, and I wrote this right beside one of the lakes. As the blue sky, morning sky, opens up to the new sun, I shine before the lake that led me home. Reminders of reflections, memories past, the summer sun illuminates the rock slides on the mountain. Forever past, forever new, we walk on in greatness and in humility as years count on. For what is this living but today, but this very breath? And as we move through time like a star in space, we learn, and we learn. As each star learns from one another. Sharing energy and treasure. We gather the wisdom that lies sacred every time we travel. But every bird's song, every tree's pattern has been written into the stories of our hearts, waiting for us to read it. So we gather and harvest, we cultivate and create, and we reflect and honor the great spirit that we call life. Open the book of your heart, press flowers into it and feathers. Never ever forget the beauty of the world. New horizons call from far beyond, where the modern eyes cannot reach, cannot fathom. For this, we need our heart eyes, our vision eyes, to guide us to the place of the setting sun. In these dreams, I make medicine of stories told and untold. I harvest fruit from the seeds that I planted. I follow the hills that know my deepest secrets, ones that I don't even know, and ask the raven to lift me up. Show me how to fly. As I rise, I see my greatness. I shine and offer gifts across the land to the gliding river. May I draw my medicine space, my sacred space, calling in the plants to guide me and to teach me their ways of ancient. May we honor death and our ancestors through this process of life, showing great reverence for the holders of knowledge. As I step into this new space, may I be crowned with grace, understanding of my gifts, and compassionate of my work, knowing I control nothing in this great mystery. Thank you.
This piece is called Poem for Wang Wei. He knows the watcher is a deer posing on a hill for his delight. He sees the twig-like form, the upside-down arc in the back as it stands. Just the snow outside today, and this deer. He knows his own voice is a witness too, but one that talks. The upside-down arc in being that alights when his back is turned. The world is behind, back beyond the hill. The hill, just as a poser, standing still. What monument must he blanch out now? How now to keep his vision, dear mute, dear still. This next piece is about a movie that I just love. It's called Midnight Cowboy. I was very young when I watched this movie, probably 20 or so. It's about this guy played by John Voight, very young. He leaves his hometown in Texas to go to New York. One of the words in the title, it's kind of an odd, different word, diorama. That's sort of a sequence of visual things, a diorama, like a dream or something. Anyways, the poem sort of is about the first 15 minutes of this movie where he's on the bus, a Greyhound, leaving Texas. Quite a striking scene for me, at least. Anyways, the poem's called Joe Buck's Departing Texas Diorama. That haunting travel sequence in John Schlesinger's Midnight Cowboy, where Joe Buck is riding on a Greyhound out of his Texas trappings late at night and undergoing a dark belly of the whale experience. All the memories, incidents, travesties of the first third of his life flashing past him in one long, silent, insular movie in itself. How is it these shadows from our past are our friends when we're at our most lonely? It is like the road of dark, encrusted animals streaking out from the murky haze backdrops is as real as anything we ever know or ever will know. And at the time, the solemnity we feel is the most ardent expression of our here-ness in this life, however much inside, however contrived. Joe Buck musing on the huge womb-like bus like some shaman for his own exorcism experience, a brooding, restless young acolyte out of his depth and time on a floating, mist-enshrouded chariot, everyone asleep around him at 3 in the morning, except the driver and the whale-like greyhound, the night and the startled, lost and found, animals being awakened there deep inside.
I shall never wash these lips again. They return me to you since that afternoon. We met ourselves together the first time. My lips, my mind, trips and swings, fear, remembering, feeling alive for the very first time. Hoping, groping, a memory clear, swearing I'll never veer the path of replication, my new addiction. I breathe, and as I breathe I grasp the memory, the disappearing resonance, innate rhythm. You, the waker of fear, the catalyst of love, the goddess of a god. I am watched. I am attached, a feeling, not mine, but all mine. With release, I'll experience like a fish left on a hook. The hook will never catch again.
Hello. I think I only have 4 poems. They're all shorter. Only one of them has a title. That's about that. Okay. Thunderstorms howling roars, the rain-soaked gutters. End of my mind overflows like no other. Flow so cold turns to snow weather. Together we go ice skating on ponds of thoughts that know better. No time to stop to ponder this soul sweater. Perhaps people propose opposite propositions, contradictions exposed to show limitations. I'm just waiting for levitating moments to keep me lifted, gifted and filled with fluid parts. Hearts beating for reasons that click like a clock. Once the rhythm is over, the metronome stops. You lived life musically, but the melodies forgot. This poem is called Contemporary. Grab the clock by the hand and ask, where are your feet? How can you always be running when your body's incomplete? You can't possibly bend when you don't have a seat. When your shift's over, you continue to beep. Or at least click and clock, you're never asleep. You do no wrong, yet you're smacked for peace. You sing your song on the radio machine. Every day you can't stop, no retreat. Anyway, from the top, rock the beat. Click, click, clock, the tick-tock does seep. Sick, frick, locked, the tick-tocks in me.
Hi there. Oh my God, I'm nervous. This is my first time, but I kind of love foam. I have to do this. Okay, it's called Emotions. In time, midst of nowhere, I recollect my emotions, understanding deeply in its complexities. Nothing is left but to accept realities. Your lips melts my heart out, but aches deeply of not having you in my life. My tears are immensely flowing, collaborating with the feelings I felt. I must stay strong as my mind reclaim. For me to move on and keep you free from then on, I love you. And the other one Okay. Oh my God, I'm kind of nervous. My heart is beating so fast. Okay. Oh, where is it? Oh my God. I think I lost it. Okay. Okay, here we go. It's called Never Judge Anyone. Okay. People come and go in our lives, not knowing which one are true and which one are just disguise. Whatsoever looks they show, may it be classy, rugged, simple, or rude, it is wise to be mindful at all times. Feel in your heart through the eyes of the person you are seeing is either genuine or fake. Kindness will humbly hide itself, while deceit will eventually present themselves proudly. Putting lots of sugar into your life without you knowing you are getting into their pockets. Fake friends stabs at your back, while true friend slaps you with hurting throats and stays with you no matter what. The simplest, rudest, silent, and the most ragged are most likely the ones who are with true kindness in their hearts. That's it. And lastly, oh my God. I hope you can still bear with me, okay? This is the last one. Murmuring heart in the silence of the night, echoing beyond the horizon, across the mile, pleading to be heard from someone's heart who once belonged to me. Like a river flowing down my cheeks, bursting emotions deep within my anterior and posterior vena cava, suffocating my lungs, grasping for air, how tremendous this could be. Falling for someone who doesn't belong to me, like a wrath that won't stop. Only lament resides. What else could it be but to let you go now, no matter how hard it is for me to do? Let thy heart choose the right love for you. Thank you so much. Thank you.